We're joined live again by Air Passenger Rights President Gabor Lukacs. Thanks for joining us here live on CP24. Again, it's been more than just over 24 hours, and this deal is in place. Still needs to be voted on, though. We just saw a live look at passengers inside Pearson Airport. What do you think they're trying to figure out, and maybe how should they be navigating this this unpredictable time right now?
Good morning. I'm troubled by what I've seen because under the air passenger protection regulations, WestJet has an obligation to communicate clearly to the passengers if their flight has been canceled or not. If there's a cancellation, they have to provide an alternate transportation, and that has to happen right away. They cannot take their sweet time. They cannot sit on their hands for hours and hours and just let the passengers hanging. In the current situation, if your flight is canceled or if it's delayed or if you get no information, I would give about 3 hours to WestJet to get its act together from the time that your flight was supposed to take off or it is canceled. And if within that 3-hour window you don't get any more information, you don't get any further rebooking, then I would buy myself a ticket on a different airline after I documented that WestJet has no information and doesn't cooperate, and then I would actually make later on WestJet pay for that extra expense.
Okay, so what you're saying is people here who are standing in line, live look at Pearson Airport right now, they're standing in line looking to talk to someone at WestJet, and you're saying they shouldn't have to do that? They should just be told directly by WestJet, like, hey, your flight's happening or not?
That's right. WestJet has an obligation under the air passenger protection regulations to provide information to passengers and regularly update them about the situation. So if WestJet is just deciding, well, we're not going to meet that obligation, we are going to leave passengers hanging and fending for themselves, then passengers can reasonably infer from it that WestJet is not fulfilling its contract of carriage with them. And if there is no rebooking information coming within a reasonable amount of time, then they can buy themselves a ticket and then make WestJet pay for that expense because WestJet failed to fulfill the contract of carriage, failed to fulfill the obligations it agreed to do when it took passengers' money.
So you're saying give them a 3-hour window, basically? So if you have a flight, at noon, wait until 3, see if WestJet contacts you, say, hey, your flight to Calgary is a go. But if you don't hear that, book that flight, and then they have a right to then give them the bill later on?
That's right. I mean, if WestJet is telling you your noon flight is delayed, that's information. That's something you have to take into account. You cannot just jump the gun and then buy a ticket. But if there's complete radio silence from WestJet, if they tell you nothing and don't provide your rebooking either, then 3 hours of complete silence is probably a good indication that WestJet is not fulfilling what it owes you as a passenger. And especially at the airport, they have WestJet staff there. They could easily disseminate information. They could make announcements. They have people's email addresses, and actually they can just have WestJet staff there, agents there, hand out information to passengers. If none of that is happening, then clearly WestJet is not fulfilling its contractual obligations to you as the passenger.
I see. So what else is kind of going through your mind after this very short strike by the 4,400 cabin crew, and they have now reached a deal? What else are you kind of picking up from this deal, and then also the operations get back to normal?
Well, I would give WestJet about 24 hours from the time that employees start reporting back to work to get its operation back to normal. Within this 24-hour grace period, it's maybe conceivable that cancellations are still due to the strike or due to its aftermath. But once this 24-hour window passes, all further cancellations will again be cancellations within the carrier's control. They have to get their act together. They have to get back to operations as soon as they have employees who are able to fly the planes. They do still have maintenance crew. They do still have pilots. So all you need to have is the cabin crew reporting to work. This is not a major preparatory work as it would be, say, with maintenance employees.
All right. Airpassengerrights.ca is the website, correct? If anyone wants to be knowledgeable once you go talk to WestJet or any other airline, really, you want to make sure you double check on your passenger rights heading into those talks. They're always kind of contentious. Gabor Lukacs, thanks so much. We do appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.